Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PageantCast. Tonight, we have Krystin Eckes. She's Miss Wisconsin for America Strong. She is our very special guest tonight on the PageantCast. TKPN.
Welcome to the PageantCast, your home for beauty pageant news and interviews on the internet.
Hi, I am Valeria Sizova, Miss Multiverse 2020, and you are watching the PageantCast, the internet's first podcast about the beauty pageants. Here's your host, Tim Ketchman.
Well, thank you very much. This is the PageantCast. And I am your host, Tim Kretschmann. So pleased that you could join us. We're coming to you from the land of landfills here in Muskego. Lakes and landfills is usually what I say, but today it seems more like landfills. It is such an icky day outside. Hopefully it's not bad where you are, and we are about to give you a great amount of sunshine, because we're going to be introducing to you in our green room. Here we go to Krystin Eckes. She's Miss Wisconsin for America Strong. Hello, Krystin.
Hello.
So nice to have you here tonight. Are you excited about today's show?
Thank you for having me, and I'm so extremely excited about today's show.
Well, that's good to hear. Always love to have the young ladies of pageantry here on the program. So, first of all, let's start with the test. That opening sequence, did you memorize everybody's name that was going? No, I'm just kidding. And I even told her, you're not going to hear any sound. It's going to seem really awkward. So it's always kind of strange for our guests, and I appreciate you putting up with us. Now, where are we calling you tonight? Where are you in the state of Wisconsin?
I am right in central Wisconsin Rapids.
Oh, right in the middle. That's dead center. And
yes.
The only thing I remember about Wisconsin Rapids the last time I went through is my cell phone coverage died. Like right in the middle of Wisconsin Rapids. I was like, how is this possible? Just
you
right.
You gotta have the right cell phone provider, and you're good.
Why? And I did that thing that dumb people do where you take your phone and you try waving it above your head like that's going to help. Like I'm going to catch a radio wave. I'm just like, okay, here, come on, giddy up. Yeah, that was a sad moment in not understanding technology. So how long have you been in Wisconsin Rapids?
So I am originally from Vesper, Wisconsin.
Vesper, where is that in the state?
It's about 7 miles north of Wisconsin Rapids.
Okay, so still in the center of the state.
Yeah, so it's part of the Wisconsin Rapids School District. So I actually graduated high school from Wisconsin Rapids.
Okay.
So this is, I guess, my hometown.
Your hometown. Well, fantastic. Glad to see you there. Now, we have some questions that we have to ask you, otherwise I get yelled at. And one of the biggies is, of course, tell us a little bit about your pageantants. Now, pageant is a past pageant experience. So prior to competing for this pageant, what pageants do you have in your background?
So I started competing at the age of 17, which is 12 years ago.
Okay.
And when I started competing in the Miss America organization. Mm-hmm. And I competed in that organization until I was around the age of aging out of the Miss America organization. I took a couple-year hiatus.
My least favorite term, aging out. And you gave us your age right on the air. That's amazing. I think that's one of 2 times ever on this show where a pageant queen has given out her age. Oh, my goodness.
So there's actually a reason that I gave out my age.
Okay.
So I started competing again 3 years ago when the Mrs. America organization came out with their Miss division.
Okay.
And I took first runner-up 2 years in a row.
Okay.
And when I was debating about coming back this year or not, one of my kind of push was I'm 29, I'm going to be 30 in November. I'm going to go out of my 20s with a bang. And I was going to compete one more time. And this year competing was going to be my last year, no matter win or lose.
And from what I hear, there was some outstanding judging, and that helped quite.
There was.
Fantastic. Well, glad that I was there to see you the year that you sealed the deal. And
Yes.
now I do have to ask you. I'm gonna put up your bottom third again here. Miss Wisconsin for America Strong. A lot of people are going to ask about that. What is with that title? It's a little long.
So originally it was Miss Wisconsin for America.
Right.
And once it got put on sashes and it got put out into the public, it was very close to the Miss America. And so to kind of help set us apart, to show that we're a different organization, they added on the For America Strong.
So it's a branding thing, and there are a lot of pageants out there. People don't realize there are a lot of different pageant systems. Now, where is this pageant going to be holding its national pageant?
Our national pageant is held in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Westgate Hotel.
Viva Las Vegas. Now, have you
Yes.
been to Vegas before?
I've never been to Vegas.
You've never been to Vegas. Oh, my
No.
goodness. Well, the good thing is when you come back from Vegas, you can say nothing about what you did there anyway. So that's a part of it.
That is true. So I actually fly home 3 days before my 30th birthday.
Wow. It really is an exciting birthday that you got coming up. You're going to be all involved in the pageant and now I'm trying to remember. I think that particular hotel that you're going to be at is not on the strip itself. I think it's a little bit off the strip. But I believe it was a 5-diamond resort, if I remember correctly. So
It is.
It's going to be pretty exciting. And it's diamonds, not stars. That's diamonds.
Yes. So the owners of the Westgate Hotel are actually the founders of the Mrs. America and Miss For America Strong national platform. So they actually founded Victoria's Voice Foundation, which helps raise awareness about opioid addiction, and they are part of the leading factors of getting Narcan into the hands of first responders and law enforcement and having Narcan readily available. And they work with the legislator and they work with the government to kind of help tackle this opioid epidemic that we're in. So they actually host Mrs. America with being our national platform.
So what is Narcan? I'm not familiar with that term.
So I'm just trying to think of like how deep into explaining it I should go. I'm a paramedic, so I can go like the medical aspect of it or the like common terms aspect.
Well, now I got the right person. Why don't you tell me everything?
Okay, so when you use drugs like fentanyl, Dilaudid, morphine, they are opiates. And in our body, we have opioid receptors. And so when you take a drug that is an opiate, it takes over that opioid receptor. And so every time someone uses that drug, they are always trying to chase that high that they get from having the medication get into those receptor sites, because it basically like lights them up and they get excited and they start releasing chemicals into the body. So every time you use an opiate, after your first time, you never get the exact same high that you get from the first time. So every single time people with opioid addiction continue to use, they always end up using more and more to get the high, because they're always chasing that first high that they got, because they're never going to have the same first high. So So when you administer Narcan to someone, you can administer it through their nose, which is intranasally, through a muscle, which is intramuscularly, or through an IV, which is intravenously. And what it does is the Narcan attaches to the opioid receptors in your body, and it blocks that opioid medication from getting into the receptor site.
Okay. So it's a drug, though, that's injected through the different methods, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And is that readily available for folks, or is that something that we need to work at? Is that something where we need to make it more available?
So thanks to Victoria's Voice Foundation, they have actually worked with legislation and worked with the state and national governments to have Narcan readily available. So the Narcan that's readily available, at first it was getting it out into the hands of first responders and EMTs. And then it went to getting it out into law enforcement's hands, so that if law enforcement got on scene first of an opioid overdose, they could get that Narcan on board to get that person back. And then they worked at getting it out into pharmacies. So a lot of the times when you go to pick up a pain prescription nowadays, they actually give you Narcan with your pain prescription, so that if you do overdose, you have it right there with you in your hands so that someone can give it to you. Okay.
Well, we're going to change the subject for a moment here, because I believe you have a furry little friend. Is the nearby?
I have to find her.
Oh,
Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I know where she
is. This is the moment I've been waiting for, so we could see her leggings. And she is off finding a very special little friend for our next segment, which is called Show and Tell. So tell us about your little friend there.
So this is one of my kittens. I have two. This one is Diva.
Okay.
And the other one is Bella. And they look exactly alike. So I could honestly pull Bella down, and people would probably be like, "That's the exact same cat." I know their differences, and once you know them, you can tell their differences. But most people can't. So I got these kittens about a year and a half ago. They are a year and a half old. They were born in March, and I got them last July. So now they just are my best friends.
do they have different personalities at all, or?
They do. So Diva is totally I want to sit on your lap, I want to lay by you. She literally sleeps right by my neck, whichever side she decides to lay on every night. Okay. And Bella likes to be around you, but she doesn't like to cuddle with you. She likes to cuddle with your feet, but that's about it.
Well, most cats are a little more independent. They're not like dogs that jump all over you all the time. They're a little more independent.
Yeah. Bella is. Diva is kind of like a dog sometimes. She'll lick you to give you kisses on your nose or on your arm or your hand. She will play fetch.
Wow. That is an unusual cat.
Yeah,
that is different.
She's kind of like a dog.
Wow. Yeah, you had actually warned me that one of the cats might jump up and try to take over the show at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Diva does at some point. Bella is sitting up in the cat tree right now, just chilling.
Just watching everything.
Yeah.
That's because they're plotting to take over the world. That's what's going on.
That's what people say a lot of the time.
Yeah. All right, it's that time in the show that everybody is afraid of. Here it comes. This is the Box of Mystery. There we go. Yeah, we're taking one out at random. Are you nervous?
I'm excited.
Okay. Well, you should be nervous. This is scary. Oh, I wouldn't want to be asked this question. No, it's not that bad. How did you prepare for the pageant? How did you get ready to compete?
So this year preparing was a lot different for me than the
Okay.
previous 2 years. Like I said, I competed 2 years prior, and I was first runner-up. So this year, getting ready for pageant was more work, and more work besides just walking and practicing interview. But it was also finding out a lot more about myself and knowing that this was my last year. If I didn't come home with the crown and the title, that I was still me.
Okay.
And it was learning to love myself more and knowing that I was going to go into pageant and just have the time of my life. And I think that that showed a lot more this year than it did previous years.
And that always comes out when it's from the inside. It comes out when it's all surface. It never comes out. That's just how that works. Well, our chat room, I think, wants to talk to you directly. So we're going to go into the chat room. We're going to take some questions from the chat room. Here we go. This first one comes from a mysterious person you've never heard of before.
Oh,
Rachel asks, what appearances so far are your most favorite?
Oh, so my most favorite appearances so far have been one of the first appearances I did where I actually was involved with raising over $25,000
Wow.
for fighting all monsters. And it was a head shaving event. And it was a little boy from here in the Wisconsin Rapids area. He was losing his hair from cancer. And he didn't want to be bald. And so his aunt told him that if he raised $5,000 for fighting all monsters, that he could shave her head because she wanted to show him that being bald is beautiful.
Wow.
And I got a hold of it, and one of my friends said for $10,000 he could shave his head. My boyfriend said for $15,000 he could shave his head, and for $20,000 the owners of where we did the event would shave their heads. We ended up raising over $25,000, and seeing the look on his face the day that he got to shave his aunt's head was honestly one of the best days ever. The glow on his face was just completely worth it.
Wow, that is great. That's a lot of money too to put together. That's fantastic. Yeah. So Heather asks us to tell about your platform because she has absolutely no trust that I would get to that eventually. She is sitting there saying, enough, Kretschmann, let's get over to the platform. So tell us about your platform.
So my platform is childhood cancer. And I don't just say it's raising awareness, and I don't just say that it's raising money for childhood cancer, because I group all of it in childhood cancer. So I am an advocate for childhood cancer. My nephew is fighting acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and he was diagnosed 9 days before his second birthday. And I have kind of made it my mission since his diagnosis 2.5 years ago to just make people aware of childhood cancer and make people aware that it's not as rare as what we think it is. So in the past 2.5 years, I've raised over $130,000 with the help of many, many people to go to either families that are fighting childhood cancer, to go to organizations that help with childhood cancer, like Fighting All Monsters, to go to Alex's lemonade stand, to just basically help families that are affected with cancer, especially. And I just make people aware of kind of a little bit of childhood cancer. So the month of September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So I went gold for September for childhood cancer awareness. I have just kind of helped educate people that 4% of the money raised for 4% of the money raised for all forms of cancer go to childhood cancer. So 4 cents of every dollar is given to childhood cancer, and childhood cancer is the #1 disease killer of our children. So 7 kids a day die from childhood cancer, and it's just an astronomical number that I just hope to be able to push people to kind of get a little bit more involved in it, and maybe we can get some of those numbers down. I didn't know any of this before my nephew was diagnosed. And after my nephew's diagnosis, we went through a time frame where we actually were in protest with pharmaceuticals companies because there's only 5 chemotherapies approved for children. Mm-hmm. And the biggest pharmacy that produces the most commonly prescribed chemotherapy for children actually had said that they were going to stop making it. And so we actually had to protest to legislation, and they actually put into legislation that the pharmaceutical company was not allowed to stop making the chemotherapy so that children could still receive it. And my nephew, at the age of 2, received the exact same dosage of chemotherapy that my mother did at the age of 50 when she was going through breast cancer.
Wow. Amazing. All right, our next question that we have here, it's hard to follow one like that. Ellen asked the question. Oh, and before I ask this, I'm going to write down what I think you're going to answer. Okay, and here we go. What portion of the competition in Las Vegas are you looking forward to the most?
People are going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but I look forward to the interview.
I can't show that I was right.
I'm sure it says interview.
Interview right there. That's all she talked about before we started the show. I can't wait for interview. I'm like, really? Seriously? She was trying to convince me that she really was. But
so I know it sounds crazy, but I love the interview portion of pageant because for that 5 or 6 minutes or 3 minutes or however long it is, I get to sit in front of 5 people and just talk about myself. And it's not like talking about myself in front of to my friends or my family or my boyfriend or my sisters or anything like that, because they already know all about me and they don't care. But when I sit in front of the judges, I get to talk about myself because they want to learn about me and they want to learn who I am as a person. So I get to tell them all the wonderful aspects about me.
Wow. I get to talk about me. That's fantastic.
That's part of the interview.
All right. We have one from Heather here is next. What sets you apart from all of the other Miss for America Strong contestants? Why are you going to be the best national title holder?
So I am going to be the best national title holder, and what sets me apart is winning this title just proves my dedication. When I get my mind set on something or when I do something, I go at it 100% and I give my all to it. And competing 3 times to get this title and working as hard as I possibly can. I had a goal of having 3 appearances a month with winning Miss Wisconsin for America Strong, and I've averaged about 5 appearances a month since June.
Wow. Fantastic. And Heather really loved that answer, and then my robot immediately kicked her out of the...
Oh, no!
Kicked her out of chat again. I don't know what's going on, because on screen we can see exactly what she typed. Heart, heart, heart. And then I watch over here and it says, okay, it timed her out. I'm like, for what? Why would you time her out for that? Hey, you know what? We have a brand new segment we're going to try out here with you. And this
I'm the guinea pig.
Are you ready? You
I'm
are
ready.
the guinea pig. This is called the Fantastic Favorite 5. And I think we got even like some opening music. Let's try that. There we go. The Fantastic Favorite 5. Isn't that exciting? All right. Your new favorite game show. So, what we're going to be doing, there are 5 items. They're on the screen. I always got to do this way. I have to do everything backwards, which just drives me crazy. Over here, we're going to have 5 things I'm going to ask her about her favorite thing. I'm going to put up what type of thing it is. I'm going to read it out loud. And then we're going to start a timer for 30 seconds. She's going to have 30 seconds to try to fill as closely as she can on that favorite item. Are you ready for this, Kristen?
I'm ready.
Okay. Now, this time of year, it's Halloween, right? So, and people that know me know that my other podcasts are all about horror films. So this one had to be on there. What is your favorite horror movie? Are you ready? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
I don't have a favorite horror movie. I don't like scary movies. I don't watch them. I did just watch Halloween the other night, so I guess I'll say that's my favorite horror movie because that's the only one I've ever seen.
Okay, that was 17 seconds. Did you see the new one?
No.
Was it Halloween Kills, or was it the original, or one of the Rob Zombie ones? There's like 30 versions now.
The Rob Zombie one, I think it was.
Yeah, that one's terrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Nobody should ever watch it. Terrible,
I don't like
terrible.
scary movies.
Oh, come on.
I watched like the Killer Doll movie as a kid.
Chucky,
Yes.
Child's Play. Yeah.
It scared me, and so I haven't watched a scary movie since.
I actually have a ventriloquist dummy that I use around here to scare people all the time. And I actually, the other podcast I have going right now is called Dead on the Bases. And I have a sports fan friend that he subjects me to sports movies, and I find the most awful horror movies possible and subject them to him. And he comes in here and yells at me quite frequently. All right. Don't worry. I think this next one, you might have a favorite. Your favorite movie genre, like what type of movie do you like? Like horror movies are obviously my favorite. They're sci-fi, they're superheroes. What is your favorite movie genre in 3, 2, 1?
My favorite movie genre would be comedy. If I got to pick a favorite TV show genre, it would definitely be like crime serial killer series.
Wow. Which one?
My favorite crime serial killer series, I really like Snapped. I really like Law and Order SVU, Criminal Minds. I watch pretty much all of them.
I point out to people, and people, it's impossible to find this series. It was called Unsub. It was written by Aaron Spelling, the guy that did Beverly Hills 90210 and all that. It was called Unsub, and it was basically Criminal Minds 20 years before they made Criminal Minds. And it starred David Soul. I have found a grand sum of 1 episode of it on a DVD collection that had all sorts of, short run police TV series stuff. I mean, I chased this thing down every rabbit hole, and that's the best I've done. There's nothing out there on YouTube. It's really painful. But if you ever get the opportunity, it's amazing to watch, because you can see where all these things that are in all these TV shows now come from. Now, let's see what's number 3. Oh, this one's easy for you. Your favorite TV show. I'm going to make it hard and say you can't use one you already talked about.
That's okay.
And in 3, 2.
My favorite TV show, I'm going to pick 2 because it's 2 different time frames. Boy Meets World, I would love Corey and Topanga, and my second one would be New Girl.
New Girl with, who is the star of that one? She was in Elf.
Yes.
Her sister is Bones.
Yes.
Why is her name not coming to my head?
It's not Rachel McAdams, is it?
No, it's not Rachel McAdams. What is her name?
Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe Deschanel. That's it. Yes. I like that show. It's a lot of fun.
It's hilarious.
And the one, oh geez, now I'm really getting into names I can't remember. But the guy that's kind of like eventually became her boyfriend, he's fantastic. Nick. Yes. He's fantastic. I love him in almost everything he's done, except for he made the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, and he should have walked away from that like everybody else. But nobody saw it. It was terrible. But a lot of people paid for it to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, terrible movie. Okay, I don't even know what number 4 is. Let's see what happens. Now this one you should know. A favorite ice cream flavor. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? You got 30 seconds starting now.
I'm lactose intolerant.
Okay, now you're just messing with my show format.
That's
what's going on.
When I did like to eat ice cream, or if I like to make myself miserable for a day, it's usually Blue Moon.
Blue Moon? Really?
But it's about once a year that I maybe have ice cream.
Wow. I don't know what I would do if I was lactose intolerant. I'm intolerant of a lot of things. Lactose isn't one of them. All right. All right. Hopefully number 5 will be easier for you. Let's see what we got. This has been hit and miss. Let's see how we do here. Favorite fictional character. So any character in a novel, in a movie, in a TV show, anybody like that. And it doesn't have to be somebody that you like, but it's your favorite that is the most interesting or most intriguing to you. And you start right now.
My favorite fictional character would be in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. The main character, I can't remember what her name is. But she starts dating him, trying to get him to break up with her in 10 days. And so there's parts of the movie that she is just so funny. Like when she says, "Our love fern, you let it die." It just cracks me up.
Fantastic. And that one you came in pretty close, right to the 30 seconds. So that is a good one to end with. Thanks so much for being our guinea pig on the fantastic Favorite 5. Woo! If you knew how long it took me to create that thing. Let's go back to the chat room and see. I think everybody took a break again in there. So we are going to go to my other questions that I have here. Oh, I could always grab this again, but you wouldn't like me for that. So is there any, are there any websites or any things that you follow to help you in your preparation for a pageant? What are some of the resources that you've started working with?
As far as wardrobe, we get our interview dress sponsored. My evening gown I found with Autumn Caston at Autumn's Pageant Closet.
Okay.
I actually picked that up from the seamstress this past Saturday, so that was exciting. Our swimsuit is sponsored. And then for interview, it's working with our coach, Crystal. And I clean houses and businesses. So when I'm cleaning, I pretty much ask myself any question that I think the judges could possibly ask me. And I answer them myself and just kind of do like mock interviews by myself pretty much on a daily basis.
Well, we have an interview question that just came into our chat room from Heather, who has been doing a good job keeping us fed here with questions. What has been the most surprising thing you've learned in your pageant journey? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean since you got crowned. It's anything you learned the entire time that you've been involved in pageants.
One of the most surprising things that I've learned in pageantry is when I think back to when I first started competing at the age of 17. I don't really think that a lot of females and a lot of women know that they have a voice and that they can make differences. And I think with pageantry, that is one thing that really comes out of all of the women that compete. You learn so much about yourself, and you learn that you have a voice and that you can use your voice in a positive way and you can do positive things. And that as women, we can do amazing things. And it's also shown me a network of women that have the same goals and ambitions that I do, and not necessarily with childhood cancer, but the same goals and ambitions of making a difference in communities and our state and our country. And so it's given me a network of women that I know that at any point I can turn to for anything.
Fantastic. Now, one of your other sister queens has a question for you. Rachel asks, what was the first thing you did after you were crowned? I know the answer to this. Not have ice cream.
I thought you were talking about the night I got crowned, because I was going to say, honestly, I don't really remember. Because that night of pageant, I remember right before getting crowned. But I don't remember anything until Rachel being crowned.
Really?
So right before my name was called, they announced my first runner-up, Zena, and she is one of the most amazing women. She is a beautiful female inside and out, and I just remember being so happy for her for winning. And I thought that they had announced her as the winner. And so I turned around and looked at my sister queen, Heather, upset because I didn't even place. And all I remember is Heather looking at me and going, "It's you, you got it, it's you."
I actually remember that. I remember that. I was watching and I'm like, oh, she isn't figuring this out. She isn't putting this together at all.
And so then when they announced me as the winner, I still stood there and I was like, wait, they announced Zena. And then I was like, oh, I won. And then it finally hit me. And there's actually a picture of me looking out, and I don't know who I am looking out at in the audience, but I'm giving someone a thumbs up. And there's another picture of me like looking up to the sky right before I got crowned. And I don't remember any of it. I remember Heather saying, it's you, and like cheering me on from behind because she knew. And the next thing I remember is Rachel winning Miss Wisconsin American.
The funny part, I've seen the picture of you looking up, and it always, whenever I see one of those pictures, I'm like, okay, it kind of looks like they're praying or, saying thanks or something like that. But the reality is, if you're on one of those stages and you look up, you're blind. You are completely blind because there's so many lights up there, and you can't see anything. I can't even imagine.
In that picture, after I had realized that it was me, I don't know if it was when I was looking up or not, but I do remember like in my head just saying, thank you, God, like this finally has happened, the hard work has paid off, it's my year.
Now, did you have the fishbowl thing happen to you where for a little while it's almost like you're in a fishbowl and everything kind of gets quieter for you, or did that happen to you at all? Or
I didn't.
Okay.
But I I can't remember what appearance it was after, but it was like a month and a half after being crowned that my boyfriend and I were leaving an appearance, and I looked at him and I said, "Oh my gosh." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "I'm Miss Wisconsin for America Strong." And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You've been crowned for a month and a half, Kristen." And I was like, "But like, I did it. Like, I'm finally Miss Wisconsin for America Strong. Like, I
Here, we'll put
finally
that
did
up
it
so
this year."
everybody knows. There you go.
And it took me probably a month and a half, for it to finally set in,
Yeah.
and like it finally clicked in my brain that I really did it.
I have been told because I've interviewed a lot of pageant participants. I've been told that the scene from the Hunger Games, the original Hunger Games movie, there's a scene where they're kind of introducing Jennifer Lawrence's character. What is it, Katniss or whatever?
Yeah.
They're introducing her on like a TV show, and there's a portion where she walks out and she can't see the audience. The lights are in her eyes, and everything sounds muffled to her. And I've had a lot of people tell me that during their crowning moments, it was kind of like that. Like they didn't really perceive everything for a little bit, and then you kind of come out of it. But I know when I've been on stage emceeing and in the line of fire, I have seen that kind of like far off look that falls into eyes right when they get named. And I always wonder, what is it like inside of there when that's happening? Because it seems like a lot of thoughts or no thoughts. It's just like maybe it's a complete flushing of thought that happens when that occurs.
It's honestly one of the most nerve-wracking moments. You're standing there with the other contestants, and they get, they're revving it up to announce the winner.
Right.
And then they announce your name. And in my situation, I thought that they had already announced Zaina as the winner. And so when they announced my name, I was like, why are they announcing my name? And so you definitely, after they announce your name, you lose like track of everything else. When I knelt down to get the crown on my head, my legs were literally shaking so bad that I had to take an extra like 2 seconds before standing up, because I couldn't stand up.
Yeah.
And trying to walk for my first walk was so difficult because my legs were so heavy, because they were shaking so bad that I didn't even know if I could walk.
Yeah. I don't think there's a solution to that. You just kind of have to ride out the wave, right?
Yes. And then, a month and a half later, it finally hits you that you did it.
Fantastic. Was it one of the moments that you were in the back of a was there like an actual moment? Was it the driving away when you said it to your boyfriend, or was it one particular thing that was said? Or
So we were actually just leaving a parade.
okay.
And every parade that I went in this summer, I rode on the back of a tow truck. And I rode on the back of a tow truck because every town that I went to, I knew a child in that town that had previously battled cancer, and they had beat their battle, or they were currently fighting childhood cancer. And I wanted to showcase them. I wanted to let them know that they were the center of attention for the parade. And I wanted everybody in the area to know that you think childhood cancer is rare, but here's a child right in your hometown that has cancer. And so it was the parade in my hometown of Vesper that my nephew rode with me, and my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece. And it was leaving that I just looked at him and I said, oh my gosh, I'm Miss Wisconsin And he was like, yeah, you've been for like a month and a half now, Kristen.
Wow.
And I was like, no, but I finally did it. Like I finally get to make even more of a difference with childhood cancer. Like I finally did it. I miss Wisconsin. And he was like, yep. And I was like, I think it's just reality is setting in.
You can see it. Well, I've done the whole parade thing. I'm usually the one driving, while somebody in the back is waving and getting all the accolades. And it is a weird. It's a weird thing because there's all these people waving at you that you have no idea who any of them are, but they all know who you are because your name is on the side of the thing, and they're shouting out your name. And that's got to be a unique type of situation.
It definitely is. And even going to appearances, because obviously I wear my sash, but it doesn't have my personal name on it.
Right.
I've definitely just gotten into the habit of whenever I hear, oh, there's Miss Wisconsin, I'm like, hi.
Well, and they always get the title wrong, right? Because they'll say, "Oh, it's Miss Wisconsin USA," or it's Miss. They never know exactly what it is, and they don't take the time to read the sash. They just pageant queen. Okay, I'm going to say
Yes.
this. I'm sure you've been called queen a few times or princess, or
Yes.
have you been mistaken for any of the Disney princesses yet?
I haven't.
It's coming.
Did I did read at a daycare, and one of the little girls at the daycare asked me why. She goes, "Why are you wearing the crown?" And she goes, "Are you a princess?" And he said, "Yeah, I guess I can be a princess." And he said, "But we're all princesses, right?" And some little boy in the daycare looks at me and goes, "I'm not a princess." And he said, "Yeah, I guess you would be a prince then, huh?" And he looks at me and puts his hands on his hips and he goes, "I'm not a prince, I'm a king." And I'm like, okay.
And that child's name Gaston.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
hey, we have one more question from Heather here as we wind down. How do you align yourself with the national platform?
I align myself with a national platform, being able to experience the differences that Victoria's Voice has done. I am a paramedic. I've been working on the front lines, working 911, and I have given overdose patients Narcan. And it is because of Victoria's Voice that I had Narcan readily available. So one of the first times that I gave Narcan, it was Christmas morning at 6:30 in the morning, and I started my shift at 6 a.m. and our tones went off at 6:30 for an overdose. And we got on scene and we started CPR and life-saving measures. And as we were giving drugs and starting IVs and giving Narcan because we knew it was an overdose, I looked up and saw a little boy about the age of 6, roughly, standing over us, watching us do life-saving measures on his mom.
Oh, wow.
And that was kind of one of the first times that I really saw the effects of opiate addiction. And I was really able to kind of see the benefits of having Narcan in the hands of first responders and law enforcement and having it readily available at pharmacies. And it is because of Victoria's Voice Foundation that we might not ever have a day where a little child loses a parent, not only on a holiday, but on any day of the year.
Okay. We're getting near the end of the interview. Is there anything that I missed that you want to make sure that you get out there before we end the interview?
Oh man. I just, for anybody who decides to watch this that isn't in the pageant world, the Miss for America Strong, Mrs. American, and Mrs. America concerts will be in November, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. It will be live on Facebook. So if you're from Wisconsin or you're not from Wisconsin, don't feel like you can't tune in live to see all of these women compete and see kind of what makes pageantry so amazing and what makes all of these women amazing people.
Fantastic. Hey, we are at that last moment in the show, and this is the moment where I asked to see your best pageant wave. So we're going to get you on the big screen there, and we're going to picture you back on the parade route. There are people on both sides of the road. Let's see your best pageant wave from the back of that Corvette convertible.
You make me more nervous doing this than anything.
That's what I do. Okay, that one's called the scrubber. That's what we call that particular one.
Every once in a while, I just get tired, so then I just do like the.
Yeah, the scrubber is a good way to get yourself some carpal tunnel going.
Yeah.
The flapper, which was your other one there, that is better overall. I think you really need to go see an ergonomic specialist to make sure you get that 100% down.
I feel like when you tell someone, "Hey, wave," then it's almost forced that you don't just get that natural like, "Hey."
Right.
But when you don't, when you just do it naturally, you get that natural like, "This is how I naturally wave." That it looks more natural.
My favorite is when somebody's on the back of the Corvette and they're doing one of these. Just pointing at people and give. It just kills me. I don't know why. It just cracks me up. It's so funny.
So I was in a parade on the 4th of July in Pittsville, and that's like the exact center of the state.
Okay.
And their parade is like 3.5 miles long.
Okay. That's actually fairly long.
And it's like 4 or 5 rows deep.
Oh my goodness.
So going through the parade, I obviously had a red, white, and blue dress on, and there were people that had like hoses and water balloons and the water guns and stuff like that. And the tow truck would be coming up with Scarlet on it, and they would like get ready to spray, and then they'd realize that I was on the truck, and it was so hot that day. I think it was like 110 degrees out that day.
Like every other day this summer, yes.
Yes. And so they would pause, and I'd be like, "No, go ahead, I'm hot. Like, I'm on the top of a tow truck. It's black. The sun is beating on me. Go ahead. You can spray me with cold water."
Oh, that's great. Well, that's a great way to go out. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and wish you all a fantastic evening. As we say, I usually try to get this synced up. Krystin, say it with me, Tierra Dreams. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Tierra Dreams, everybody.